you see all of these grocery stores, and they were grocery application startups, and you got inspired by it. How have been your journey with Konzoom in Africa, in Ghana?
On my end, my research was mostly dealing with how are we going to find suppliers. We didn't want Konzoom to be a middleman
Hmm.
connecting supermarkets to customers. The best thing to do is to do the Gorillas Flink model. Have a facility center, buy the supplies from the suppliers directly. That way we can mark up the pricing and then sell it at the price that we want to sell it, that we feel is fair.
First of all, Cecilia, thank you very much for doing this. This means a lot to me. And Onekode, my our tech company. But we are here to talk about you. So tell us who Cecilia is. And I was looking, actually researching your profile. I looked up your LinkedIn profile. You were in operations, and then you started this your startup Konzoom, right? So tell us about yourself, who Cecilia is, and how your journey has been so far.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you for having me, Sajad. I'm really happy to be here. So, who is Cecilia? I'll give you a summary. I was born in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana. I lived there till I was 14, and then my family relocated to Berlin, Germany. So I did my high school here, and then after high school, I moved to the UK to study at the University of Kent. I did social sciences. And after my studies in the UK, I moved back to Germany and did my master's here in international humanitarian law and human rights. At the time, I was so passionate about doing human rights and humanitarian law because there was a lot of, after the Arab Spring, there were a lot of refugees coming into Germany, and I was so passionate about helping in one way, shape, or form. So I thought the best thing to do was to study law so I could help any organization that needs to help people who are in humanitarian crisis. But then after my studies, I sort of did not work in that field. I traveled to Ghana and I worked with a social impact consulting firm, and basically, what we were doing was we're going to different regions across Africa. So we went to Liberia, we went to Sierra Leone, and we were doing more data research, analysis, monitoring, and evaluation work for DFID, USAID, UK that sort of thing. And after my work in Ghana, that was about 2 years, I moved back to Germany because at the time I felt like I had gathered enough work experience and I was going to come back to work with one of the big organizations here. But it didn't happen. So right after that, I sort of started working here with another company that also is in the sustainability industry. It's called Ecosia, and basically, what Ecosia does is they plant trees from the profits they make. It's a search engine, and once people search on there and they make profits, that those profits are used to plant trees around the world. They have reforestation. They are doing this reforestation project. So after Ecosia, I was working in the HR team, operations team. After Ecosia, or during Ecosia, actually, that's when COVID hit in the year 2020. So during COVID, we were stuck at home, it was locked down, and we sort of had to figure out how to get our groceries because we also had a 2-year-old baby. And that's when all these on demand grocery delivery services started springing up in Europe. So there was the likes of Gorillas and Flink and so many others. And we saw how fast the groceries arrived every time we ordered it because none of us wanted to go outside to the supermarkets. It was too long to do that, and it was also very tedious and stressful. My partner and I at the time were also seriously considering moving back to Ghana to set up a business there. And one of the businesses we were actively considering was this on demand grocery delivery service because we had also seen so many challenges with the grocery industry in Ghana. And we're like, this is fantastic. We'll do our feasibility studies and see how it goes. So we up and left. towards the end of 2021, and we moved back to Ghana to start Konzoom. And we've been doing Konzoom ever since. So that's a brief summary of who I am. But I'm also a mother of two kids, a wife, a sister, a daughter,
mm,
a friend.
mm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just
Yeah.
a summary of who I am.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of leaders, especially women across the world and also in Ghana, it's truly inspirational. With two kids and you're managing a startup, that's amazing. And to be honest, doing really good at it. That's
Mhm.
another thing.
Thank
So
you.
that's really, yeah. So that's really good. Now, you I believe after the COVID we faced this huge problem, right? We cannot step out, we cannot meet people, and
Mhm.
whenever we face a problem, we see this throughout the history. Whenever there is a problem, there comes the solution, right? There comes the
Mhm.
innovation. So it's so whenever we need this innovation is coming out of kind of necessity thing. So
Yeah.
you think this these you saw all of these grocery stores. What's this? Okay, so you see, you see all of these grocery stores, and they were grocery application startups, and you got inspired by it. So how have been your journey with Konzoom in Africa, in Ghana? How did you start? What were the challenges in the start? Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So, prior to setting up Consume itself, we had to do our research. So, on my end, my research was mostly dealing with how are we going to find suppliers. Bear in mind that my partner and I had never done this before. I have a background, I'm sort of a serial entrepreneur. So in the past, I've started businesses. I have a business, an online store with my sister. We sell hair products and hair tools and accessories. In university, I was selling shoes. So I was ordering shoes from Alibaba and selling it to students on campus. So I've always been entrepreneurial, but we had never done this sort of business. And this is not just a business, it's a startup because it's powered by technology as well. So we had to do the research. How are we going to find suppliers for, the and for the facility center? Because we didn't want Consume to be a middleman connecting supermarkets to customers. The challenge we found there was that if we are the middlemen just grabbing the groceries from the supermarkets and delivering it directly to customers, we can't control a lot of the factors involved in grocery delivery. That is, we can't control how the prices would look like for our customers. And one of the unique selling points of Consume is to offer affordable groceries to our customers. And if we're going to be partnering with supermarkets, that means we can't control the pricing. Also, if we're going to be partnering with riders or bike courier services, dispatch companies, we also can't control the pricing on that end. But most importantly, when anything goes wrong with the delivery, it will come back to us because people are ordering on Consume. So we were thinking, how are we going to control this whole chain A to Z? The best thing to do is to do the Gorillas Flink model. Have a facility center, buy the supplies from the suppliers directly. That way we can mark up the pricing and then sell it at the prices that we want to sell it, that we feel is fair on our customers' pockets. We can also hire the riders and create employment in that process, and then buy the assets so they can deliver the groceries in a timely manner because we have control over that. And also they're using our Consume app so we can check and see where they are at every point in time. And also we employ pickers in our facility center. So for us it was more affordability, sustainability, not using plastic bags to deliver the groceries, but paper bags, and also creating job opportunities for people. So prior to starting Consume, it was okay, how do we do this? The research, how do we get suppliers? And for me, it was mostly LinkedIn, online research, trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to stock? What are the typical things that Ghanaians shop on a daily basis? So that's where friends and family came in handy. Okay, so typically when you shop on a weekend, what do you buy? Okay, vegetables, milk, this, that, that. Okay, So we
mm,
asked about 20, 30 people what they normally shop on a weekend. And that's where we started from. And then I connected with suppliers on LinkedIn, trying to figure out,
mm,
okay, how are we going to get our local supplies? How are we going to get our international supplies? So we had to partner with major importers who bring things from the international market into Ghana.
mm,
Then with the local suppliers, the ones I couldn't find on LinkedIn, it was mostly done on Google search, Ecosia search, Bing search, whatever
mm,
search engine I was using at the time. And then after that, it was just connecting with them on WhatsApp. So, okay, hi, this is who I am. This is the
mm,
business model that we have, and would love to partner with you. So that was one part of the research. The other part was actually registering the entity and then getting a facility center that was in a location that would be
mm,
able to help us deliver all our orders within the 60-minute time frame that we were aiming for. So that groundwork was done mostly by my brother-in-law because he was in Ghana. I was not at the time. So he helped us to find a location in a prime neighborhood that was very central, and it would be easier. It would have been easier for us to deliver all the groceries. And then also he helped us
mm,
register the business as well. And then he started helping us find employees. So it was a lot of research.
mm,
This whole process took about 6 months before
mm,
we finally actually, departed and left to Ghana. And then while we were there, the groundwork started. Okay, suppliers that I had reached out to started supplying us with the products, with the groceries. And then
mm,
actually figuring out how we're going to start the marketing as well. So it was a lot of factors
mm.
involved in actually setting up Konzoom and then kicking it off on December. It was December 10th, 2021 that we launched officially.
Okay, that's a lot of information to take in, to be honest. Okay, uh, but as I was listening, I was thinking a lot of questions. But I will start with this. At what point did you see that, okay, this business model that we were trying to achieve is working? Because when you start any business, no business, starting business is easy. It takes time, and to be profitable it takes years. So
Of
when
course.
was the moment for you, with Konzoom, that you see, okay, now we have achieved it, now we are profitable?
Mm. So what really, so truly the inspiration behind Konzoom, I think I missed that part. We are both from Ghana, my
Mm,
co-founder, myself, and we've been to Ghana severally on holidays, at least once or twice a year. And we saw
mm,
that in Ghana, when you want to get your groceries, it is a tedious process. One, because
mm,
we don't have supermarkets everywhere. There's not easy access to supermarkets like it is in Europe.
mm,
So sometimes people
mm,
have to travel like long distances to
mm,
get to the nearest supermarkets. Secondly, there are neighborhood stores all around, but these neighborhood stores do not stock an extensive list of products. So you might get some of your products here, and then you have to take another transportation and go to like another store to find more
mm,
products, or you just go to a market setting and get all your stuff. But walking through a crowded market in Africa, I don't know if you know it, but walking through a crowded market in African cities can be very exhausting because you have people
mm,
carrying products on their head, hitting you with their,
mm,
with their pants and their, whatever they're
mm,
carrying, stepping on your toes, pushing you. It's a very unpleasant situation.
mm, mm,
So for us, these were some of the factors that influenced the reason why I wanted to go set up Konzoom. But most importantly, because there's also a lot of traffic jam in Accra where we're
mm,
from. So typically, if I wanted to go to the supermarket, not only am I going to go find my products in different stores because I'm trying to find the cheapest of products or I'm trying to save money, but I'm also dealing with the traffic jam because I'm going to sit in that traffic jam for at least an
mm,
hour, 2 hours just to go get my groceries. Back and forth, it can take
mm.
anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending on which neighborhood
Yeah.
I'm in. So that was what the inspiration was behind Consume. And then when we launched Consume officially, the first few months, it was I don't think if we had focused on the first few months would still be in business because the first
Mm,
3 months were so slow, mainly
mm,
because in the region where we're from in Ghana, people like to deal with businesses that their friends and family have used before. So if you're new in the
mm,
market, first of all, they don't know who you are. They don't know what your brand is, your mission, they can't really tell whether you're a credible business or not. So what we struggled with in the beginning was trying to get people to actually test the service and then spread the word and share the word, spread the message
mm,
that we're a credible business. Because at the time as well, people were dealing with a lot of fraudsters and scammers online. So there were all
mm,
these online businesses that claimed to deliver anything from clothing to food stuff.
mm,
People would
mm,
order, but then nothing will come because it was a fake online store and they would take people's money. So we, in the
mm,
beginning, it was a lot of people calling in rather than ordering
mm,
online, asking us if we're a real business, if there were people behind the
mm,
phone, and how do they trust that we're a real business? We're not going to steal their money. It was a lot
mm,
of these. So we couldn't even do pay before delivery. All we had to do in the beginning was pay cash upon delivery. So once our
mm,
riders arrive and you see the goods and you see your
mm,
groceries, that's when you pay the money. So it took the first
mm,
3 months was this trial period where people were like unsure what Konzoom was about, even with all the marketing we were doing. So we had billboards across the city. We had
mm,
people, foot soldiers, who were going to people, giving them flyers in their offices on the streets,
mm,
and still doing a lot of social media marketing as well. But still, people, it took a lot of convincing for people to start actively
mm,
buying and shopping on Consume. So the
mm,
last 3 years, we are not at the profitability point, but I'll say we're getting to the breaking even point. So we are
mm,
currently at a point where we're seeing numbers. We're seeing a lot of customers who are they're returning customers. They come and buy from us every week, every other week. We're seeing a lot of new customers coming in as well. So we're almost breaking even, and we're actually proud of our journey because the beginning was very challenging, convincing people
mm,
to shop from us, and also working in an environment where work ethic is low. So you're
mm,
dealing with people who you're training them, but then they're supposed to come to work at a certain time, and then they don't
mm.
show up for work at that time they're supposed to come. They come,
Yeah.
later. So
Mm,
these are some of the challenges we face. We face challenges with our staff who were not
mm,
really coming the time they were supposed to come, and we had to implement measures, for them to know that we weren't joking. It wasn't the typical Ghanaian business where you could just walk in anytime and leave anytime you
mm,
want. And also the challenge of convincing people to actually try the service. And then
mm,
suppliers, dealing with suppliers as well. Having suppliers tell you they'll deliver on a certain day and not showing up, and
mm.
then not really communicating with you. So it
Yeah.
was a lot of like, back and forth, and also voicing out what the mission was on several occasions. So when I'm dealing with a supplier from the get go, I like to tell you, we're not the
Mm,
typical Kenyan business that, you're not going to bring our deliveries on time and you don't communicate with us. For us, communication is key because that's how we can also communicate to our customers. Because if you don't tell us what's happening, we can't then communicate it on our platforms, on our WhatsApp. We can't communicate it to our customers who love the products that you deliver to us.
mm,
But most importantly, training our staff to the point where they know that they need to be punctual, they need to be communicative, they need to be open to, learning, they need to be
mm,
in one with us on this mission together because we're all trying to work to make this a success story. So yes,
mm,
these are some of the challenges we face. But back to your question, we're not profitable yet, but we are at
mm,
almost at that break even point where we are able to make enough to be able
mm,
to afford our overhead costs
mm,
without going
mm,
into the minus. Yes.
mm. Okay, that's that's quite a lot of challenges right there, and
Mm-hmm.
I think for any entrepreneur, that's why you do it, right? And my question to you is why you do it, and to every entrepreneur, why you do it? Why take a lot of mess? You were doing a very good job at this German search engine company, right? But
Yeah.
why do this?
I've
Why
never
take
been.
this a lot of pain and
Yeah.
challenges, and why?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been one. I've never liked the whole idea of working in an office setting and then sitting behind my laptop 8 hours a day. I'm the kind of person who wants to be out in the field. I want to go out there, talk to people I'm dealing with, talk to the customers. So when we started Konzoom, the first few months I was actively delivering groceries as well. So I would pack all the groceries in the car, drive from one location to the other because I also wanted to connect with the customers to see what their pain points are, to see what kind of products they want to see on the shelves, because they are the ones who can tell us what they want. It was difficult to sort of evaluate, okay, what are we going to get, what are we going to stock, aside the basic things. So it was easier for me to actually connect to the customers, understand what they needed, and how we're going to stock the things that they wanted. And for me, that gives me joy. I enjoy driving through Accra traffic in the car,
Mm,
listening to nice music, and going to a customer and just standing with them for 5, 10 minutes, chatting about Accra heat and Accra, market settings, and them shopping and on Konzoom. That was what was giving me joy. So aside the
mm,
riders going every single day to deliver orders, I was actively on the field delivering orders myself. And over the last
mm,
2.5 years that we've been actively doing this, we've seen how we've changed people's lives, I would say. So
mm,
that people who shop from us every single week, and they're like, you save me so much time. I don't have to go out there looking for groceries. I don't have to go out there trying to find the best prices, because I know I'll find
mm,
good deals with you. I'll find good prices with you. And you bring me everything in one shop, and I don't have to go to different shops. I'm spending more time
mm,
with my kids on the weekend. I'm able to go to all my events on the weekend because I order my groceries, it's delivered to me, and I can focus on other things. And that gives me joy because we're actually making real impact here. We're actually saving people lots of hours every single month on their grocery shopping. We are also
mm,
saving families money so they don't have to spend all their budgets on groceries, buying from
mm,
expensive shops. But most importantly, for me, it's our employees seeing
mm,
us really make an impact, creating job opportunities, seeing people come to work at the end of the month, they get their salary and they're so happy. It just gives me some sort of joy because even in between at the mid month, if they need money, they're like, oh, can I get a salary advance? We have processes in
mm,
place where they can access parts of their salary mid month if they need to. And just seeing the joy
mm,
in their faces every single morning when they come to work because they're excited to do something that will give them and their family opportunities because they're making an income. That's what makes me do Consume every single day. The customers, the employees, the suppliers I've
mm,
built relationships with. We're not just in a business relationship anymore. Some of them have become
mm,
family. Some of them have become
mm.
friends. We meet up, we go for dinners, we
Yeah.
go for lunch, we brainstorm, different ideas because that's the point we've gotten to. And I don't see myself doing anything else anymore because this has become like my life's mission now because it's so
Mm,
beautiful to see what we've created and the impact we are having on so many thousands of lives in Ghana. So yeah, that's what is
mm.
making me do Consume and not considering doing anything else.
That's pretty amazing. It actually
Yeah.
brings me uh, two sides of the stories to the same story. One is your story, like y-
Mhm.
your story as an entrepreneur to help others to build this brand, and the things that you have said here, I think they are the crux of building a brand. And a lot of people who are trying to build a brand, they focus on so many other things, but the things that you have explained here, connecting to the customer, and you are calling them your family and everything, you have said that's perfectly makes sense on building a brand. But again, you are not even, you're not even making profit. You're driven by the passion. I can see that. And I love this thing I was reading. I'm fan of, as an entrepreneur, I am fan of Steve Jobs and other similar to him. And he said, I think earlier in his journey as an Apple founder, that if you are not passionate about it, actually you are going to work 18 hours a day, right?
Mhm.
And if you are not driven by passion, then it's very unlikely that you are going to all the way through. So yeah, I can see that passion, but how long you can go, because
Mhm.
you must have limited resources, right?
Exactly.
You still haven't break even. So
Yeah.
how you see that, how long you can sustain this?
Yeah. I mean, currently we're bootstrapping. So it's bootstrapping money from our savings, friends, and family who have supported us and given us some monies here and there. But now we're actively trying to fundraise. So we have a timeline and we're, trying to put all our resources together so we can actively start fundraising next year. Because we're at that point where we have demand, but we can't meet the demand because of lack of funds and lack of resources. So with the fundraising process, we are hoping to be successful enough so we can hire more people, get more assets, improve our technology infrastructure overall, and then be able to get more supplies, more of the products that people want to see on the shelves when they come on Konzoom. So this is the plan and the goal for the year 2025, and hopefully, well, the first quarter, hopefully, we're able to fundraise to actually expand our operations and meet more demands and reach more customers as well.
Yeah, I can see that you will go on a success path because the way you're passionate about your product and the customers. So I wish you best of luck on that. But
Thank you.
yeah, the other part of it, the other side of the story, the people who are working for this goal or who came along, you said friends and family. I mean, you can convince them, they will be with you, but what about the other, like your employees? How did you, give them the vision to follow, and like you explained that they are, they are feeling like they are working towards a goal and they are happy working for it. So how, I think it's a challenge for every entrepreneur. So how did you manage that, and what's your advice on that?
Hmm. So, one thing I've come to realize is you need to treat your employees like their family. You need to tell them about the mission of the business in general, and also carry them along with you. Talk to them about the challenges, talk to them about the milestones, talk to them about the highs, the lows. That's how I do my entrepreneurship. So my employees have become like my family. So normally we share when we do our stand up, I share every information with them that they need to know. So if we're having challenges, I share with them. If we're having highs, lows, whatever it is, I discuss it with them openly because I want them to understand the process and to also feel like they are involved in all of what's happening. But then even though we are not profitable yet, we've never, not for one single month, never not paid them their salary. So every single month, we make sure we pay all our employees their salary, even when we don't have money to buy supplies at certain points, because we feel that they need it the most because their families depend on the salaries that they are making. So for us, they are they are a very important part of what we're doing at Konzoom. So we carry them on with us. We talk to them about the vision. We constantly talk to them about the goal. Currently, we're about to fundraise. They know about it. We talk to them about it. We need to up our game. We need to reach more customers. We need to do this. We need to do that. What do you think you can bring on board? How can we fix certain things? How can we change certain things? What kind of strategies should we implement for 2025? I can't come up with the strategies myself. My co-founder can't come up with the strategy himself. We can't do this on our own. So we also speak to them. What sort of products do you think people would love to see, like in the new year, on our shelves? What sort of things should we do differently? What ideas do you have to make us go from this point to that point? Because you are actively speaking to customers on the phone, the customer service, you're speaking to customers on the phone. You know what customers want. What do you think we should do differently? And they are happy to always share their ideas because they know that at the end of the day, they're not just working for a salary. They're working for a startup that actually values their opinion as well, and they're able to communicate how they feel. They're able to communicate, when they have issues at home, and it makes it a very warm setting to work in because it's not just you coming in and nobody cares about how you're feeling, your family. We are humans, so I want them to feel as humanly as possible so that when they come to work, they know they are cherished, they are loved, and also they're part of the Konzoom family. And it's not just about us making money, making a profit, but it's about us also believing in them and supporting them, get from if you're just a customer service personnel, where can you go next? What can we do to make you want to grow with us? If you're just a store picker, what can we do? How can we train you so you're not just picking things on the shelves, but you're actively learning new skills to improve yourself so that you can go from being a store picker to maybe going joining the customer service team, for instance. So these are things that we always like talk to them about and support them with. And I think that's what's worked for us.
Mm, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And in terms of scaling, like you guys are only in Accra, or you guys have expanded to other cities? How's that working?
Yes. So we currently supply to Accra and Tema. So Tema is also in the Greater Accra region, but it's not in Accra, the city of Accra. It's another town or a small city on the outskirts of Accra.
Mm,
So we supply to Accra and Tema, and we're looking to expand to other regions as well. So we're looking to expand to the Ashanti region. There's
mm,
Kumasi. We're looking to expand to the harbor, the Twin City. There's
mm,
Takrady. Takrady is the oil city of Ghana. We want to expand there as
mm,
well. So we're thinking of expanding, but also not just within Ghana. We're thinking of expanding beyond the borders of Ghana,
mm,
potentially Nigeria, Ivory Coast. These are some of the regions that we want to,
mm.
or the territories we want to, go and explore.
Hmm. Hmm. So it's
Yeah.
more of a in your vision. I think the immediate next stop or next thing would be like West African countries, where you will connect with different. Okay, perfect.
Exactly.
That's good. And when I talk about or think about this startup, this Konzoom startup, you are basically bringing in, not only on your shelves but to the customer as well. But if we look at the big picture is that someone somewhere, maybe a farmer, or someone is producing that good, and that
Mhm.
good is landing at my home, at my doorstep. And of course there is no there is not only Konzoom involved in this. A lot of other people are there. So what I need to understand is that logistically, you have mentioned the challenges that you faced, but
Mhm.
how difficult it is to manage all of this logistically in
Mhm.
a country like Ghana or in
Mhm.
West Africa. How challenging that can be, or what components would be there that you would say, okay, from farmers, that's how it's coming, suppliers, that's how it's
Mhm.
coming, and everything.
Yes. So for every supplier, I have a backup
Mm,
because I can't have just one supplier for one line of products, or I can't have one farmer for one produce, one line of produce. It'll go against us as a business. Working in Accra has taught me that for every product or produce, I should have two, three suppliers. And that's
mm,
how it's worked for us in the last few years. So we have a supplier, we have a farmer who supplies us with tomatoes, onions, and bell peppers, ginger, garlic. These are the five
mm,
things that they supply us with. In case they can't supply us this weekend, then we have a backup. We have another supplier who is more,
mm,
also grows the same things, probably slightly more expensive than our go-to supplier, but at least we're not going to be short of tomatoes for the weekend, because the weekend is when
mm,
a lot of people are shopping. We're not going to be short
mm,
on tomatoes, onions, and these produce that I've mentioned. We have locally produced products like granola, cereals, yogurt, kombucha, juice. And for
mm,
every one of them, I like to build a relationship with our suppliers, because so currently we're supporting over 30 Ghanaian SMEs. And I have a
mm,
relationship with all 30 of them, the 30 plus of them. And I like to
mm,
support their business, because I know that if I'm supporting this particular brand, I'm not only supporting one person, but they are
mm,
employing about 20, 30 other people. So I'm supporting, when I buy from this supplier, I'm supporting 30 families. When
yep.
I buy from that supplier, I'm supporting their 15, 15 families. So cumulatively, as Konzoom, we're supporting total 400, 500 families just by,
Mm,
having this startup and this business. So for every supplier, I have a backup, and that's how it's functioned for us. So they know, all of them know, because I'm very open. I'm like, listen, if you can't bring me the supplies this weekend, I'm sorry. I'm going to my backup. It's nothing
mm,
against you, but I'm not going to lose business because you are not being forthcoming, and
mm.
you're not holding your part of the bargain. So that's how it's worked over the last few years, and it's working really well. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I believe we earlier talked about your brand's relationship with the customer, and I
Yeah.
liked that story where you said I went to their doors,
Mm-hmm.
talked to them about how they liked it, or
Hmm.
disliked it,
Yeah.
whatever the way it will help you improve your brand.
Yeah.
But the relationship with the suppliers as well. So do you think it's about good relationship with them, or it's always about like the contractual thing, the monetary value thing? Okay, how much, how much Cecilia is paying us. If someone else is paying more, I will do that. So what it's like to manage those relationship when you are this kind of in this kind of a business and in this kind of a market.
Yeah. So it could have gone either way. I could have had a very strict, let's abide by the contract relationship with our suppliers where, hi, I send in, the list of items we need on the Excel sheets. You send us our products and that's it. I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about your family. I know nothing. But then we're in business. I pay you your money as and when I need to. You bring me the supplies. But for me personally, I am the kind of entrepreneur who I believe in having relationships with people. I believe in people relationship. So having a
Mm,
relationship with suppliers, with employees, with customers, that's the kind of person I've always been as an entrepreneur. Even with the online store my sister and I started, we deliver your items, but it doesn't stop there. We're going to
mm,
send you a message like, what did you think of the products that you used? Did you like them? Did you like, the packaging? I always want to know
mm,
beyond that. We've delivered to you, then what? Then that's it. We want your money again. Come back next week. No, I want to always know, were you happy with the service? Is there something you didn't like? And same with the suppliers. So beyond us, having a contract, I want to know, oh, what's your next line of products? Are you planning to have any new products on the market that I should be aware of? Because then I can also, start teasing my customers with it. Do you have any samples for my customers that we can be putting in their
mm,
bags so they can test your products as well, or they can taste your products as well? And I found that this kind of relationship works for us because I'm able to negotiate better prices for my customers. So because
mm,
I've built this relationship with them. When prices that like hike in prices, I'm able to speak to them and say, hey, I know you've increased your prices, but come on, can we come to a compromise? And they're always willing to hear me out, and they're always willing to compromise with me. And also when I order things, and even if I ordered really late, I find out they
mm,
always tend to come through for me because we have that relationship. They'll always make me a priority
mm,
because I'm not only that on paper, that supplier that they go supply to, but I've actually become family. I've become a friend. So it's like,
mm,
okay,
mm,
even though your order came in late, I am going to, supply you tomorrow. And
mm,
that is the beauty of what we're doing, because it's helped
mm,
us in so many ways to actually beat down prices for our customers, so we can
mm,
always offer that affordability to them without them breaking their backs and their banks. Yeah.
mm. That's interesting. I'm
Hmm.
actually looking at I'm breaking down Konzoom right now. So what I'm thinking is that this person, Cecilia, she's very kind of a people's person, and she has very good relationship with everyone. Now
Hmm.
it also give me a sense of dependency or a liability as well, because what I want to know your vision on this. If
Hmm.
we get Cecilia out of there for
Hmm.
one day or a week, will the business work the same way? Will those suppliers will the because it can then gives you kind of an insight like how you are translating your traits, your business ethics, your
Hmm.
values to your employees, because if you're not there they have to act like this, right? That's one thing that you need to answer. The other thing that I'm thinking, if we again, the hypothesis, if we take you out, the
Hmm.
product, is it creating a good experience enough that even if you're not there, or even if the people who are managing it right now not there, the product itself, it keeps delivering that promise? Is it that good enough that people will still love your brand and still keep working with it?
Okay, that's a really good point. So I'm not the only person whose personality is like this at Konzoom. I've trained my stuff to also be like this. So even if I'm not there, they're able to communicate with the suppliers, they're able to communicate with the customers. And the customers know all our employees by name. When they
Mm,
call the customer service line, they speak to someone, they know it's Benedicta on the line. They know
mm,
Beauty on the line, because Beauty, Benedicta, Sally, they've all learned the skill of talking to customers and being very friendly And when the customer comes with a complaint, we have ways of dealing with it. It's not we're not just going to be like, oh, we're sorry and that's it. There's a process. A customer was unhappy with the product. Okay, can we note it down? What products were they unhappy with? Okay, why were they unhappy with this product? Okay, so maybe the suppliers brought us products that had, especially with rice. We come from a very hot climate, so sometimes the rice in warehouses tend to have weevils in them.
Mm,
And with this, we can't control it as a business because we buy the supplies, and then if it has weevils in it, there's nothing we can do about it. But we can
mm,
communicate it to the supplier, and we can ask them to change the rice for us and give us rice that don't
mm,
have weevils in it. So we've been able to train our staff to a point where even when I'm not there physically, or I'm not even dealing with customers, I'm not dealing with suppliers, they are able to also communicate in a way that I would want them to communicate. So
mm,
always we communicate one with respect. We give
mm,
everybody respect because we also want them to respect us back. We communicate with people in a very open manner. We are not going to, try to find shortcuts to anything. No, we're going to be as transparent and open as possible to our customers,
mm,
to our suppliers, and to everyone around us. So we're working with integrity. And we need to also keep in mind that the brand we're dealing with, we have a reputation to preserve. So you
mm,
can't just do things anyhow. There's a way to do things. So sometimes I'm not there for weeks. As I'm speaking
mm,
to you currently in Germany, I'm not actively on the ground. But the business
mm,
is functioning because we have an operations manager, we have a facility
mm,
manager, we have customer service personnel, we have pickers, we have riders, and everybody knows what they are supposed to do at every particular point in time. I'm not even
mm,
going to sugarcoat it and say it's always rosy. No, we've had challenges. There have been
mm,
situations where me being too friendly to my employees has cost me, because at some point that particular person feels like they can do things a certain way because I have a good relationship with our boss, so I'm going
mm,
to do this, and it's come back to bite me. But at the end of the day, it's about communicating to them that we have to treat each other with respect. There has to be mutual respect,
mm,
and it's because I'm friendly to you or I'm nice to you, I ask you how your kids are doing, doesn't mean that you can decide not to show up for work and not call
mm,
and not communicate with us. That we won't
mm,
tolerate. So there's always processes in place and there are procedures in place. There are ways that things are done. But ultimately, the goal is to be able to train the staff so they can, channel this energy into their work.
mm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That I think a lot of business and a lot of leaders they are missing it. I have my own challenges with it, but I think you have explained it beautifully here. Okay, this skill set that you have to deal with people, to maybe your previous, I believe every business leader when they start their business they are bringing something that they have learned in the past, maybe through
Absolutely.
jobs, maybe through whatever they have been through. So do you think it came from your previous job roles, or
I,
you were in Germany and you were working, or is
I,
it something innate?
no. So I've worked in different places since I was 16. I've had several jobs. Every summer I had a new job. And I've sort of learned over the years which businesses are thriving and which are okay. There are businesses that are thriving and there are people businesses, like they've built relationships with their customers. And there are people businesses that are thriving, but they are just very cold. It's all about business and money. And I've realized that the ones that tend to be customer oriented and they have a personal relationship with some of their customers, they tend to do slightly better than the ones that are just focused on, hi, we're an ice cream parlor. You come in, you buy your ice cream, you sit down. That's it. Nobody comes to check up on you to see if you're happy with the ice cream, if you're okay, that sort of business. For me, what stood out was there was one organic food store I worked at one summer when I was about 18, and it's like a neighborhood supermarket for organic produce and products. And the boss at the time, it's a Ghanaian lady and her German husband. And what they've created is they have a membership they have a membership subscription model where their customers, long-term customers, pay every single month a fee, and they get they get discounts on products, and they're the first to hear of new in the store. And the
Okay.
funny thing is, these people have this supermarket or store, and they have customers who have been coming in for 20 years straight,
Mm,
every single Saturday, because they've built a family around their business. So the customers come in, it's not just about them coming to buy. When they come in, they have a whole area where the customers can sit and chat with each other. They have an area where they sit with their customers and chat with them.
mm,
I realized the customers loved coming in every single week because they felt like they were part of that store. They were part of the story, the success story. But most importantly, they felt warm and welcome. And
mm,
that was what that summer I was there for about 2 months. It was such an eye opener for me. I was like, wow, the way they interact with their customers, the way their customers interact with them, it was so beautiful to see. And I was like, wow, this
mm,
is such like I also felt like I was part of the family, and I was just there for two
mm,
months. So after that venture, every time I like started my own business, I always took that with me. You know, get to know your customer beyond just taking their
mm,
money. Offer them value,
mm,
offer them support when they need it, because that way
mm,
they don't only view your brand as, oh, I shop on Konzoom and that's it. They view your brand as, I shop on Konzoom because I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel loved, and they support
mm,
me and they understand me, because there's some customers we go above and beyond for. Some of
mm,
them, they want products that we don't have on our shelves, but they're like, okay, can you source this product for me for next week?
mm,
And I'll pay you whatever price it is, because I don't want to go out there looking for it from another store. I want you to source it for me and I'm going to pay you. And these are
mm,
some of the extra services that we offer our customers that makes them come back over and over again, because at the end of the day, I want these products, I've bought them from you, but then I want these extra things that you don't have. But I don't want to go give my
mm,
money to someone else. I'd rather you source it for me and mark, like, add your profits to it. I don't care how much. I'm going to pay you for you to deliver to me next week. And that's the beauty of what we're doing, because they give us opportunities that we would otherwise not have. And they also tell
mm,
us what they want to see on our shelves. So
mm,
it's something I've learned over the years, working in different
mm,
places and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and also how, because I've been in businesses and environments where the bosses do not respect the employees. They treat
mm,
them like trash. They talk to them anyhow. They just don't care about their stuff. At the end of the day, you're working for me. I can talk to you anyhow I want. And that,
mm,
for me, that is not it. Just because you're my
mm,
employee doesn't mean I have to talk to you anyhow. It doesn't mean I have to scream at you
mm,
and shout at you and make you feel, belittle you. Because at the
mm,
end of the day, we need to, as I said, respect for me is key. We need to respect each other, but also I need to treat you with respect, and I need to treat you as a human being, and you need to treat me as your boss with respect, but also know that you can always come to me to talk to me when you have
mm,
issues, when you have problems, and see where we
mm,
can support you in your growth, in your private life as well, because whatever happens in your private life, it's going to impact how you work for me. If
mm,
you're having challenges at home, you know, and you can't work, it's going to affect me, because I've invested so much time into training you and trying to get
mm,
someone else to come do the work that I've trained you for a year. It's going to cost me
mm,
time, it's going to cost me money. So how can we
mm.
work together so that you are in a happy place when you come to work, and you are okay, you're comfortable, and we're all happy to do the job that we're supposed to do? Yeah.
Mm, mm. Hmm. That's really good. I think that's an amazing advice on people dealing, and also on the running a business, because you are talking about customer service, and then you are also talking about how to treat your employees. So that's an amazing lesson. I think that's the shortest master class on running running a business with kindness. So that's really good. But what I'm looking at is, as you explained, that okay, my employees or my people are doing the same, right? Now there are two things that I'm thinking. One is, can you teach this kindness, this empathy? Can you teach this to someone? And the second thing, if you can, or if you have, how have you done it? Like, what's
Mhm.
the process? How do you talk to your employees? Do you
Mhm.
one-on-ones, or do you have a coaching program or something like that? How one can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one, I don't do the hiring anymore. When we first started, I used to do the hiring. So when an employee comes for an interview, I speak to them, I get to know them. I ask them so many questions. What's your goal for the next 5 years? For instance, where have you worked in the past? I want to understand where you're coming from and where you want to go. So before I gave up that, interviewing to someone else to do, I train them as well. So when you're interviewing, you're not just interviewing them based on the questions on the paper, but we want to understand how they think, what their vision is, what their goals are, what their aspirations are, where they're coming from, because these are things that will help us know the kind of person they are and how to go about training them. So when you start with us, there's a training process. For the first week you come to work, every single day we sort of give you tasks to do, but then you actively observe. It's mostly observing in the first week, observing how the others are working. So you will observe the customer service team for a few days to see how they work and how they communicate with the customers on the phone, how they deal with the complaints. That's what you're going to do. And then after that, you work with the pickers as well to see, because even if you're coming in as an operations manager, we want you to see every aspect of the business, because that's when you'll be able to understand how we function collectively. So you will work with the pickers for a couple of hours, a couple of days, to also understand how do they work, how are they picking the items on the shelves, how are they communicating with one another, how are they communicating with their supervisors. And then when you work with the pickers, you also actively get to know the riders as well, because the pickers deal directly with the riders. Once the orders are ready, riders pick them up from the pickers and then they go deliver. So, okay, how do they communicate with the riders? What kind of relationship do they have? So once you see the different aspects of the business, it sort of makes you realize how things are done and what needs to be done. No one needs to tell you, because you've seen it. This is how things are done and this is how we want things to be done. So we sort of tell you as well, okay, this is how we communicate with our customers. We make you speak to customers on the phone as well. In the beginning, we even have a text for you to practice. So if you call a customer, you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Cecilia, calling you from Konzoom. you know the rider said there were broken eggs in your order, would like to change it for you or give you a discount for your next delivery. So we apologize for this. We always have a text to guide you, so even if you're not the kind of person who's very communicative, or you're a shy person, or you're not very confident on the phone, we have a text for you, so you can just read it out. And with time, you get to know that text off by heart, that you don't even need it anymore. So you're like, oh, hi, I'm Cecilia, calling you from Konzoom. We had complaints. So it becomes part of who you are, the customer service team, because you know what you're supposed to say, how you're supposed to say it, and what you're supposed to do. And with the riders as well, there's a way we train them. You need to come in looking very neat every single day. You wear your Konzoom t-shirt, you wear your boots, you wear your jackets, because you're representing us outside there. I'm not there on the field, you are. And if the riders look a certain way, they look tattered, they don't look well kept, it speaks volumes, and it speaks about our brand in a way that we don't want it to. So we train the riders as well. Every single day you come in, your hair has to be neatly. If you have long hair, you have to put it in a ponytail. If you have short hair, you need to brush it. When you're coming in, you need to wear your Konzoom t-shirt. It has to be washed like you don't because Accra is dusty, so we don't want you to come in looking dirty. So these are things we communicate with them every single time. And then occasionally, we also do like things where we give them incentives as well. So for the customer service people, if they're able to meet certain targets, or if they're able to do certain things, there's incentives as well. So at the end of the month, they get bonuses. So these are things that really make them work hard, because they know, if I work really hard and I'm able to deliver all the orders, and I'm able to get good feedback from the customers, that the rider was very pleasant, he was polite, he was communicative, he knew how to navigate his way using the Google Maps, for instance. Then at the end of the month, okay, on top of my salary, I'm going to get some extra bonus because I was able to meet all the ticks that were expected of me. I met all the the checks on my checklist. So it's just a way of us having incentives in place, and also training them, making them see different aspects of the business, so they can really understand overall how we function and how we work.
Hmm. So basically, you have your processes. You can say put on automation. Like you have identified. Okay, this person or this role has to work like this person has to work like this, and then you have put a kind of a training manual, and whoever is getting onboarded, you must be assessing that in interviews, and then you are training them as well. So that
Exactly.
I think that's scalable business, right? You can
Mhm.
hire as many people and train them. Okay,
Exactly.
that's good. Yeah, as I look at the time, I think we are 7 minutes above your book time. Your
Mhm.
time must be valuable. So, Cecilia, it was really, amazing to get to know you, to know about your vision and how you're operating. I can take this like 3 hours, 4 hours long podcast based on what you have given me. But
Mhm.
yeah, we can do this some other time.
Yeah.
Before we conclude this, I would want you to give us something that you would want to give whoever is going to listen to this or watch this. What's your message would be, either for entrepreneurs or someone in customer service? What's your message that can impact someone's life and
Mhm.
career?
My main message would be patience is key. Patience is very important no matter what you do. So when we started Konzoom, we if we hadn't been patient enough, we wouldn't be where we are because we would have given up before even getting to the point where we are at, because we are in an environment and a territory where government policies can shift, government regulations can affect your business. There are all these things that come up. But if you're not patient, if you're not, consistent, you just give up before you actually see, the light, that light at the end of the tunnel that they always say. Patience is key for everyone. For our employees, patience is key. You can't know the whole business and be perfect in one day. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes learning, and it takes consistency. Patience is key for suppliers. When we start our business deal, our business relationship, we're not going to, understand each other from the get go. We're going to have challenges. We're going to have misunderstandings because maybe you didn't hold the part of your bargain. I didn't hold the part of my bargain. I might have said, "Oh, I'm going to pay you in 30 days," but in those 30 days, I didn't have the funds for it. But patience is key because we are supposed to, as I say, respect one another, treat each other, with mutual respect, but always be patient towards one another and give each other a bit of grace. So patience is always, for me, patience and consistency is what has gotten us to this point. So no matter what you're doing, which industry you are in, always give yourself some grace and be patient with yourself, be patient with the people around you, and be consistent and willing to learn. That's it.
That's an amazing message, and I believe it. I've seen it. That the patience is coming at a certain age.
Hmm.
Even maybe it's my personal experience. Maybe I've seen people around me. We are very, we are we want things like very quickly, especially when we are young. Later, when we have learned our lessons, we become,
True.
more patient. So
That's a
yeah, I think that was an amazing advice. Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. It was really nice meeting you, and hope we connect again sometime. But this was, amazing experience talking to you.
it was lovely being on your podcast. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Cecilia. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You
Bye bye.